series, John, and that is your Celtics, the 2 seed, Boston Celtics. I don't know if I need to add to that in case people didn't know. Against the 7th seeded Atlanta Hawks. Obviously, Hawks got into the play-in, as I mentioned. Boston already won game 1. Confident they're going to close this out.
Yeah, I think that, and maybe this is just kind of crazy for me predicting 2 sweeps back to back, but I think out of every series in the East, I think this is the most unbalanced one. I think this is absolutely a sweep. I mean, by halftime, Boston was up by 30 points. I just don't think that Atlanta has the defenders to deal with Boston. And I mean, you just talked about James Harden and maybe having some inefficient games. I think we're going to see some games like that out of Trae Young. So yeah, ultimately, I also just don't think that they have the versatility to compete with Boston's 3-point shooting. But also, you know, you got Brown and Tatum who can both penetrate. You got Robert Williams who can make a lot of plays in the paint. Like they just, I don't know. I think Boston's got too much overall on both sides of the court for Atlanta to really compete. I know that the score was technically a little closer than some might think. It was 112-99, and a 13-point victory isn't crazy, but that required a pretty big second half from the Hawks to make that happen because, I mean, in that second quarter, like I'm talking about, I'm criticizing their defense. They allowed 45 points. Like, they almost allowed, like, it was 29-45. So, I mean, they allowed over 70 points in the first half. Like, that's just tough. Like, if Boston wanted to and they didn't take their foot off the gas pedal, they could have gone for a pretty crazy number. So, yeah, I think Boston sweeps them. The only concern I do have is Jaylen Brown does have, I think, some incision on his shooting hand. And he said it's been a bit of an issue. Or maybe, I don't know, he's also wearing a mask. I've seen different things, and so he's dealing with something, and I'm wondering if that could potentially keep him out for a game or two just because they want to play it safe, and maybe in some situation like that, Atlanta steals one. But ultimately, yeah, I don't think this series is going to be very competitive.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think just Boston's a really well-built team. I think they have a lot of versatility. I mean, didn't even play Grant Williams this game, and I think you kind of know why. DeJounte and Trae Young are kind of the main guys they had to stop and slow down, and Boston matches up well with that. They have Marcus Smart, Derek White, Brogdon. They have 3 different guys they can kind of throw at them guard-wise, and Jaylen Brown too. You know what I mean? So, and I'm not sure Peyton would get any playing time, but if they really needed to scrape off the bench, they could maybe throw him in. But nonetheless, yeah, I think it's just poor matchup for the Hawks. I'm gonna go with you too. I'll do my first full sweep. I think it's a 4-0. This Hawks team is just, I don't want to say it wasn't their year, but it was just definitely disappointing from a lot of the expectations. You make the big trade for DeJounte Murray. It still really hasn't worked out. What's going on with John Collins? And then Bogdanovich for a while was apparently wanting a trade. And then, he's had moments in previous years where he's looked really great as being maybe a third scorer, third option, but that hasn't looked like so. And then Okongwu's kind of been a mess, it feels like, with the Hawks. So, going with the Celtics, just more versatile team. And, yeah, I mean, obviously they're rolling. And we'll leave it at that.